Hello, Craig. Hello, Daniel. It's that time of this programming where we talk about yet another Jurassic World reboot or movie. We've done all the movies, or all the Jurassic World movies, and none of them are good. So, what could possibly be the results of doing another Jurassic World, especially one that came out 3 years after the disaster that was Jurassic World Dominion? What did you guys think of Jurassic World Rebirth? Craig.
Why?
Why? Yeah, that's a good idea. Why? Daniel, what'd you think?
Completely pointless.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it was as offensive as Dominion.
No, so we're going to talk about that. It is not good, but I will say that it is better than the Jurassic World movies. And I'm saying movies plural because we talked about Jurassic World and the second one to death. So I think we did an episode right before Dominion came out, and those movies are so mind-numbingly stupid. Not even stupid in a fun way. Militarizing dinosaurs is the dumbest thing possible because in their own movies, Craig, they don't even prove that the method will work because these dinosaurs die by weapons. It makes no sense. So at least this movie doesn't have that level of stupidity that the Jurassic World movies did. And I reckon it has something to do with that idiot, Colin Trevorrow, whatever his name is. But Craig, what did you like about Jurassic World Rebirth? I know it's probably very little.
Not a lot. It was very similar to the third one, which I remember when before tons of reboots came out, that was always considered the worst one. I always had a soft spot for it.
I like the third
And
one. Yeah.
yeah, I like that. I mean, I know it's not as good as the first. Nothing is. But I liked it enough. This is very similar to the third one, which I guess is the only reason why I don't hate it as much as the others. It didn't feel as shameless. I'm using a lot of negative ways to describe the movie. It's not as shameless. It's not as annoying.
Yes.
It's got its problems, but it's just not as bad as the Jurassic World movies. That's really all I can say about it.
And to your point about Jurassic Park 3, this is very much like that movie, but the problem with this movie is that it's over 40 minutes longer than Jurassic Park 3. If this was a breezy 100 minutes, I think it would be a lot better, because Jurassic Park 3 was very fast-paced. So even the people who didn't like it could say that, oh, well, it didn't drag on for too long. This did. And I think that's probably the movie's biggest folly, is that, well, there's two big follies for the movie. It's too long, and it's too familiar and too safe. And at this point, what can you really do with Jurassic Park anymore? Dan, what do you think? What is a positive you have?
I think the plot makes more sense than the other Jurassic Worlds is probably the positive, and none of the characters I completely despised. That's probably my only positive one. I think it makes more sense and is more tamed compared to the other ones. So,
Well, I don't know if I'd say that.
Well, because this one had, I mean, I guess talk about this one had nostalgia bait, but it didn't never got me as angry as the Jurassic World movies, where they were clearly trying to rip off
Oh,
stuff.
well,
This
yeah,
had some
yeah.
scenes where they're trying to
yeah,
copy from the original, like in that convenience store, it was trying to mimic the same scene as in the kitchen in the first one. You even see like the raptor
Yes.
claw on the floor.
yeah.
It's a little shameless, but it doesn't drag. That scene's very quick. They don't try to like beat you over the head with it. So annoying, but not enough where I am looking at my phone trying to get out of the theater as soon as
I
possible.
was looking at my phone a lot during this one. I was
It's funny.
thinking,
There was someone in front of me that kept looking at their phone, and I don't think they saw the movie at all.
It was tame, I feel, up until the ending when they introduced whatever they call D-Rex.
yes,
That
I want to talk about
monstrosity.
that.
I think up until that point, the movie was all right. Didn't do anything that bad, and then the ending, I don't even know what that
Well,
monstrosity.
let's back up because in true Jurassic Park fashion, and this goes for the sequels too, there's yet another island of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
This is another island where they have all the rejects where they're experimenting on other dinosaurs. I forget what it's called. It's not Isla Sorna,
Like,
not
it
Isla
was.
Nublar.
Oh yeah.
It is, Saint Hubert, some kind of French island in the Atlantic Ocean where they have their mutated dinosaurs, and they introduce in the very beginning the D-Rex, which looks like a Muto from Godzilla 2014, go figure, with Gareth Edwards. It has the arms, and it has an alien head.
I did
Big
think of
kind
that.
of cup alien head. And they introduce that thing in the very beginning. So to an audience member, you're thinking, oh, maybe halfway through there's going to be this big scene stealing sequence with this big monstrosity abomination. And that thing does not appear until the very, very end of the movie, last 10 minutes, where it destroys a helicopter and harasses some people, and you think it kills one of the main characters. That is it. Talk about a tease. There's no point to this thing at all in the movie. It's just a marketing gimmick. because it does nothing in the movie.
Well, leave it to Gareth Edwards to tease a monster throughout a whole movie and just have it show up at the very end.
Well, yes, let's continue on Gareth Edwards because the actors, surprisingly, didn't look bored in this movie. And we have been very critical, and I know I have said this over the years too on this program. He cannot direct actors to save his life. He is very good with visuals, but when it comes to actors, he is terrible. You have 3 movies of proof. He got the Monsters movies, his directorial debut. Godzilla 2014, there's Boring Soldier Man running around. Rogue One, everyone looks darkened and depressed. So at least in this one, maybe he's learned. I didn't see The Creation. You guys reviewed that. Was everyone depressed in that movie?
A little
Bored?
bit.
There we go. At least in this one, they were more upbeat and energetic. So I don't know what he did. Maybe the actors were like, yeah, I'm not going to listen to this guy. I'm going to do my own thing. They were more upbeat. And at least I could appreciate that, because I thought this was going to be a slog. Oh boy, I see Gareth Edwards' name.
Yeah, well, not just the slog of Gareth Edwards, just the fact that we're having a 7th Jurassic Park movie.
That too. That is
Okay,
true.
everyone makes a trilogy. Okay, fine. You make your trilogy, you force the original author to make a sequel, then you just go and make a third one. All right, had your fun. Why make a second trilogy? Why start another trilogy? I don't see the point in why they continue doing this. It still makes money somehow.
Well, I don't know if this one's going to be making as much, because whatever momentum it has right now will probably be killed in the next couple of days, because Superman is coming out. And as of this recording, Superman has not come out yet, but it's coming out soon. I don't think this is going to make a whole lot, if I'm being honest. Because I can't even imagine what they can do for a sequel. Because the characters are very one note, they're bland. There's really nothing
Not
much
just
to
one
say
note.
about them.
It's like the classic trope of, I got one last job before I get
Oh,
out.
yeah.
I'm going to over this business, man. I got one last job.
Colin, I do have a ridiculous idea that could possibly be a sequel for it. If they
Well,
do it, I wouldn't be shocked.
I have another idea too, but it's definitely not what you're thinking. I can guarantee it's not what you're thinking.
Don't want me to tell you what mine is.
Yes, you can tell me. Then I'll tell you mine, and then be like, oh.
At the end of the movie where they do we should give the cure to everyone.
Oh, we got to talk about that too. Yeah.
They're going to give it to everyone, and of course there's going to be some evil group, militarized group that's going to take it and try to weaponize it and make more dinosaurs now.
More
now
mutated.
Yes.
You can't forget that.
Make another army. Something stupid like that I could see as a
I wouldn't
sequel.
I believe it. I'll tell you that. I'll believe it. See, my idea was, because I actually did read the first Jurassic Park book. I just finished it a day ago. And I think what they should do is, if they're ever going to bring back Jurassic Park, you should have a strict adaptation of the novel with no connection, no music, no nothing, no nostalgia from the 93 movie. Because
It's never going to happen.
I know it's not. You could call it Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park, because the book, if any of our viewers have read it, I'm assuming you guys didn't read it, it is very, very different than the movie, and the original movie does not do the book any justice. It is shocking how different they are.
But it's sad because the original is actually just a good movie, so.
Oh yeah, that too, but it's a good movie, but they changed so much from the book.
Well, I mean, it's sad because I think it's gonna be so hard for people to. It's almost like breaking brainwashing, where the original is so good that showing them the accurate book version is like, no, I can't accept it.
Well, they did pull a scene from the book in this movie, and it was the T-Rex chase on the river. That is in the book, but in the book it happens twice. Rexy in the book harasses Alan and the kids so many times. But in this one, it's kind of the same thing. I guess it's cool that they're bringing back ideas that they never used in the book in the first place. The first book, mind you, not even the second one. Because, the opening to The Lost World was actually in the opening of the book, with the kid getting maimed by compies. That was in the first book. The scene in Jurassic Park 3 with the pterodactyls, that was in the book too. The aviary.
Really?
Yeah. And last thing I'll say about the book, because it's so interesting. Muldoon, the guy who says clever girl, him and Gennaro, they survive. The lawyer, they both survive in the book. And Muldoon pulls out a missile launcher and blows up a raptor in the book. It
See,
is
I don't
so
mind
amazing.
the lawyer dying because the lawyer was
No, he wasn't as
awful.
cowardly in the book. He actually
But
helps.
then-
He helps Grant restore power. It's not
Not
Ellie.
just cowardly, where every little thing is talking about how we can maximize profit. Is it heavy? It's expensive. Put it down. Like you just want to
Yeah.
strangle that kind of person.
Yeah, but the book is great, and it's so different. And that's why I said I think if they ever do a sequel or another Jurassic Park movie, it should be just a strict adaptation of the book, which is never going to happen because they got to have the nostalgia from the 93 movie.
And again, it's a good movie. I can understand why there's nostalgia for it. I love it, but
Oh, I love it too.
I don't like it enough where I want to see a bajillion Jurassic Park sequels.
Yes, because they're running out of steam, and you can tell. Because in this movie, they're not even really dinosaurs. They're mutant hybrids. And you could say, oh, well, they all technically have been because there's the frog DNA. But in this one, they're deliberately cross mixing a bunch of species to
I'm
make
glad you said that
abominations.
because I was thinking the exact same thing. Yes, I know technically it's in the original, but they were still trying to make accurate dinosaurs. This is just throwing stuff together into a blender and seeing what you get out.
Yeah, it's like the Indominus Rex, where they said they mixed whatever cuttlefish and raptors and Rex and T Rex. It's so
I mean,
stupid.
who thought it was a good idea to mix a pterodactyl and a velociraptor? Velociraptors are deadly enough by themselves. Who would want to make them be able to fly?
Yeah, I don't even know what that D Rex is combined with. Did they ever mention what it was?
I think no, I don't think so.
Because it was a six-limbed dinosaur. Who would
I
make
mean,
that? Like, what's the purpose of making that?
I'll be honest, it's pretty mid for real, for real.
Oh, another thing too that's really stupid in these movies. They keep saying that the decline in dinosaurs is like no one is interested in dinosaurs anymore. And that is not true. I don't believe it because we still have zoos today that are very popular. So the idea that dinosaurs are like an old concept where no one cares about dinosaurs anymore is just not true. It is garbage, and I reject that hypothesis. I reject it.
Well, because there's always like how many kids are born every second. There's gonna be kids growing up that want to go see Jurassic Park that they probably want to take their families a couple of times. You go as a kid, you take your kids. Like I said, zoos are still around. A lot of
Yes,
old stuff's
everyone
theme
goes
parks are
to
still
zoos
around.
still. Why would they not want to see dinosaurs? It makes no sense. It's so stupid. They're not trying in this one. It is a bare bones script, and I expect better from David Koepp, who did co-write the first Jurassic Park. He wrote the second one. I expect better from him, and this was just a lazy job.
Well, it's not like this is the first time they brought up the plot point too. They brought it up every single Jurassic World sequel. I think they brought up no one's interested in dinosaurs anymore, and we have it again,
Yeah.
hearing about no one's interested in dinosaurs anymore.
Well, that was the whole thing with the Indominus Rex. They created this creature to boost up sales and visitation, which I guess could make sense because it's a new thing. But the idea that no one wants to see dinosaurs is so stupid.
But I
Would
feel
anyone-
like that like loses the appeal. If you make something that's not a real dinosaur, it's like, well, okay, sure, you can make this genetic abomination, but it's not really a dinosaur. We want to see
Real
these
things.
prehistoric
Yeah.
creatures, not this thing you grew in a lab that it's got cuttlefish DNA. Ooh, so
Well, in the first book too, they put this really into perspective of how long ago dinosaurs lived. Malcolm said, or somebody said, that if you put someone's 60-year lifespan into a day, in comparison to how long ago the dinosaurs were, the dinosaurs would be 3,000 and something days old compared to one human day, if that's a human life. That's how far we've been from the dinosaurs. So the fact that they're trying to create these weird creatures that aren't dinosaurs is it just doesn't make sense. They're not dinosaurs.
yeah, and again, it's like sure you can make them. Maybe you have like a freak zoo or like a freak section of the dinosaur park. Like, hey, look, we kind of got bored in the lab, and this is what we made up. Isn't that kind of cool?
the creepy house at the zoo.
Uh,
Like
maybe
the nocturnal houses, you could go in and see the weird.
It's like, hey, maybe look, we made like a xenomorph, like a xenomorph looking creature. Isn't that kind of cool? Was bringing like fantasy creatures to life. Like that's like the section of the Jurassic Park theme park. I don't know.
Why do they make these apex predators? Why can't they just make like a creepy looking brachiosaurus or something smaller? Why's
I
it
know,
got
I
to
have
be
to
this? Why's it got to be this big T-Rex with the mutant legs and arms and head?
Or like the Indominus Rex, this T-Rex with the brain of a velociraptor, so it's
Yeah.
incredibly smart.
And it has the ability to camouflage so it can hide.
Who would think that? Why?
Well, especially for an animal in captivity, why would you want to make
We
it
want
so
to
you
show it
can't
off to
detect it?
people. Here it can camouflage.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like the scene from the first one where none of the dinosaurs were on the ride and like, hello, you got
I
dinosaurs
really
on
hate
this
that
dinosaur.
man. Yeah.
I love that. So that's why I know you said you want to have a movie that's accurate to the book, but like it's hard to. The original movie's so good, like stuff like that. I still quote the movie to this
Oh, I
day.
know, but it's that if you read the book, you would see
I
like,
know,
wow,
I know.
the book is or the movie is really a watered down, like condensed version of the book.
Well, it's like how me and Daniel feel like if they were to make an accurate Lord of the Rings movie, but I digress.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess it's
To get
cool
Craig
they
started.
they lifted up a scene from the book. I guess that's cool, but I don't know. That's the dinosaurs too in this one. They bring back the stupid Mosasaurus.
What's their obsession with that?
I don't know.
Like I'm not anti-Mosasaurus. I'm not running an anti-Mosasaurus campaign. I just don't understand why they feel they have to include it in a substantial scene every single movie. The T-Rex I kind of get, even though it wasn't really actually was in the third one.
It was.
But the T-Rex is iconic. It's like the dinosaur when you think of a dinosaur.
Yeah.
So I get why you kind of want to include included, but the Mosasaurus, I don't really get it.
Well, they have a T-Rex on the cover. Jurassic World. They have the skeleton T-Rex, and the T-Rex is in the movie for a scene or two.
But again, it's the dinosaur, so I understand why you feel more compelled to include it.
So I guess we've been droning on. Craig, why don't you just tell us a quick plot breakdown? Just very quick. You don't have to be specific.
So after that dumb girl and all her friends released all the dinosaurs around the world, surprise, surprise, they all died. And for some reason, our benevolent pharmaceutical company want to create a drug that can cure heart disease. And they have to go, and of course, they have to go to this island and of course, they have to get dinosaur DNA. And of course, tons of things go wrong along the way. But of course, the pharmaceutical guy is a bad guy. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
And they all make it out, and the family makes it off the island. There's a family there that somehow got stuck on the island. And
they rescued them because the Mosasaurus tipped over.
that was a
their
different
boat.
creature.
No, it was the Mosasaurus.
Are you sure it wasn't something else?
It was the Mosasaurus.
Did the Mosasaurus have fins, like on the top?
It
No.
was swimming on its. It was swimming on its side.
Yeah, I thought it was whatever.
And then it would breach the water like a whale.
A dinosaur aquatic monster attacked this family, and the family tags along with the main heroes when they have to acquire blood samples from these big dinosaurs because they said the blood samples from these dinosaurs, because they have a big heart, will help with heart disease or something. Sure, whatever. Who cares?
For some reason, again, you have to get one from the land, sky, and sea.
Yeah, that
Like, all right.
That didn't really make much sense. Sure, why not? These plots just kill me. Each one is so bare bones. So Craig mentioned the stereotypical bad guy who works for the pharmaceutical company, who you know is evil. He's a bad guy. He's planning. He reminded me just of the character from Aliens, whatever that Miles, the terrible guy. I forget his name in Aliens.
The robot?
No,
that
not
was the first one.
No, Aliens.
Yes.
The guy who betrays
such a
them
stupid name.
for the
the company guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget his name. I want to say it's Miles something. He was just like that guy. He pulls out a gun on the kids, and there's a scene where they're walking. They somehow don't see this giant crashed helicopter right above them because you could see the giant blade just like flopping.
Yeah, stuck in the vines.
Yeah, and the guy doesn't say, "Hey, look, weapons to arm ourselves." Because this is another point I want to bring up too. When I finish this, he's like, weapons to arm ourselves. No, he just takes a gun and he conceals it. And then later on, when everyone's onto him, he pulls out a gun on the people to prove that he's not evil, even though a bad person pulled out a gun threatening to kill people. The thing I wanted to mention again before you say anything, Craig. These people, they're so stupid. They're going on an island with dinosaurs, and they don't think to arm themselves. They don't think to do this. It's so...
Well, also, our paleontologist
that,
friend said, you can't kill these creatures. Actually, you shouldn't kill them.
Actually, you can. And they have been shown in the Jurassic World movies that you can kill simple dinosaurs with guns. Isn't that how Blue almost dies?
Well, you know the real reason, because if you actually brought in like 5 people with guns, they'd wipe out the entire island.
Oh, easily, yeah. It wouldn't be a movie. Because at least in the first movie, they were underprepared. They weren't expecting everything to happen as they did. And they still had guns, and they tried to use them, but, they couldn't. And in the book,
first they're also just outnumbered.
Yeah. In the book, Muldoon wanted weapons, but Hammond said, no, we have control of everything. So there's that. But they're so stupid in these movies. Like, I would have an armed militia, like a group of 10 people, just armed. And you would mow down all those dinosaurs. You could do your mission in a day, and you'd be fine.
Actually, they had that in Jurassic World, and it didn't work. That's because they were
They
incredibly
blew up
incompetent.
a raptor with a missile.
No, I mean, like, they were trying to capture the Dominus Rex, and the Dominus Rex just destroyed the island because they were incompetent.
Yeah.
It was like a comedy of errors.
Yeah, I'm sure one guy in that movie slept on a banana peel and shot himself.
It just makes it funnier that they always get a group of militarized people who forget to bring guns and lock and load.
Yeah, well, the movie would be 25 minutes if that happened. Because then you just gun down the Mosasaurus.
I know story-wise why you can't do it. It'd be too easy for the heroes, but that's why I feel like the third one worked better. These people really weren't armed because they're civilians. They weren't really expecting to be armed to the teeth. They were hoping just a quick search and rescue.
And the people who did have weapons died with the weapon.
That too, but it was also, I think 3 people were armed. The guy from the church, I forgot about him.
Cooper. That's Cooper.
That would be Cooper.
Goes to our church. But yeah, those guys died quickly, and again, it was just mainly civilians who survived, and they're not really trained.
They were in a private, small airplane. They weren't expecting to go on a rescue mission. I mean, they were armed. They were prepared. It's just that the people who were armed died first.
Yeah.
So at least that one makes more sense. They weren't
And the
dummies.
second
They were
one,
armed. Yeah.
second one, they were hunting and they were mostly successful, except I forget the guy's name, Nick. He sabotaged a lot of their stuff, so that's kind of why people died. But for the most part, they were prepared. It wasn't for the human sabotage.
Yeah, that's
It just,
messed up when they released all those animals and killed all those people in the second one. That was kind of messed up.
yeah, he's supposed to be like the good guy.
Yeah, he's like or he was just in Africa, right? Taking photos.
Who cares?
And then he decides to kill all these people by releasing
Like Jurassic
animals.
World onward, incredibly incompetent. You could not find more incompetent people to run a park if you tried.
Yes. And again, we'd be remiss of our duty if we didn't talk about the stupidity of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, where they're auctioning off dinosaurs, and their main prize, Craig, is a dinosaur that you can point a gun at with a laser dot, and then you direct the dinosaur to attack. Professional screenwriters, and this movie is hundreds of $1 million expensive. Professionals made that. It is mind-boggling.
Remember, when people think about you have to be talented to get into Hollywood, someone wrote that and got paid an absurd amount of money to write that, and
Yes.
they will have more money than you will ever have in your lifetime.
It is true. That is very true.
That's
Because
all
the
I'm gonna
movie,
say. That's
the
all I'm gonna say,
movies-
Tone.
hey, the movies make money. That's all the studios care about. But this one right now, as of now, it has a budget of $180 million, so it's a lot cheaper than the other movies. And it has a box office of $334.3 million. So I don't know if this was released in China yet, because obviously these kind of movies do well in China. I know China and Japan, their summers are different than ours, so it might be coming out later in July. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making that up. I don't know.
You're making it.
I remember seeing that somewhere, but I'm assuming whatever momentum this movie does have, it doesn't look like it's a whole lot, is going to get killed by Superman. So maybe this could be the end of Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, and it's probably for the better if that's the case.
At least for the near future. But, in 5 to 10 years, they'll reboot it.
5 years? They waited 3 years, Daniel.
If this one tanks so bad,
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
give it a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna make back its money already. So
It's probably close to making back its money. I do like, though, one positive I can give is that even though a lot of these dinosaurs aren't really dinosaurs in this movie, because again, it's on the reject island, the Spinosaurus is pretty accurate to what scientists think now. Pretty accurate design, I gotta say. Pretty cool.
well, I think we talked about this in the previous ones because it always bothers me. I'm going to say it again because I know everyone's going to watch our old review. But I always hate when people talk about Jurassic Park being inaccurate when it was supposed to be pretty accurate for the time.
Yeah, now the info is dated, but at the time, yeah. Well, I was actually want to mention this too. The progression and how fast we've been discovering things about dinosaurs. I believe in the 50s or 60s, maybe even the 70s, that's when they figured out that the dinosaurs were killed by a meteorite. For the longest time, in the 1800s and early 1900s, they thought the T-Rex was walking around with its tail down. I believe only in the 70s and 80s, that's when they realized, like, oh wait, its tail's up. So yeah, by the time the book and the movie came out, it was all pretty new information. And that was at the time all they had about the dinosaurs.
I just hate when you get the Neil deGrasse Tyson's like, actually, it's not accurate. It's like, well, yeah, it's not accurate 30 years later when we've gotten more information. Like, of course.
Yeah. Like in King Kong, the original, that was probably an accurate depiction of a T-Rex from what they've known at the time. That was in 1933, mind you.
Well, yeah, and I don't see why like people, I know the Redditors have to come out in force and go, actually.
Well, I was just saying, I thought it was a nice touch that for right now, that is an accurate looking Spinosaurus. And it looks pretty cool.
I agree. I just hate the Redditors coming out talking about how dinosaurs aren't accurate.
Well, yeah, no one knows what they look like. We just have their bones. They could have been pure
full set,
Yeah, they could have been pure yellow for all we know. Who knows?
like polka dots and
Yeah. They could have had written words on them in English, like race cars. It says
they
like
get tattooed
Bobby.
themselves.
Yeah, it says Bobby on the side of the Spinosaurus.
Sponsors.
Other
I guess
than
they have
that, yeah.
sponsors and like tattoos all over themselves.
Other than that, though, I really don't know if there's any other positives I have for this movie.
Well, I'll say this as a positive. It didn't look terrible.
No. Hey, listen, Gareth Edwards, terrible with actors, very good with visuals. He's really talented with that. And I don't want to seem like I'm just picking on him for no reason. He is terrible with actors, but he can make a good-looking movie, and I'll give him that.
Because again, how many Marvel movies come out that look terrible and this looks pretty good for
this
its
looked good.
budget?
Yeah, look good.
I want to bring up a point that you mentioned before, how obviously, of course, the pharmaceutical guy is the bad guy. The big thing that tipped him off against the daughter was because she was like knocked off the boat and he didn't jump to save her immediately. I don't know, depending on how the movie was, it could have been like a split second. He didn't come after her. Maybe things happened. Maybe he didn't react initially. I feel like that was a very weak justification for him to be a bad guy. Like, I think if you're going to make him a bad guy, make him a bad guy. Like, actually try to push her over or something.
Yeah. Well, I think also he should have explained to her that no one knows we're out here. We can't call anybody. We have to handle it ourselves.
Well, I didn't think that was bad either on him. I get it. He's supposed to be
Yeah.
a bad guy, but obviously they're doing something
Yeah.
incredibly illegal.
I think
so of
he
course
should have
he doesn't
said
want
that to her when she's trying to get the phone. He's like, listen, we can't call for help. We're on our own. Please. No one knows we're
I
out
guess
here.
well, it's his charter. He doesn't have to explain it to her.
Yeah. No, instead he like grabs the phone. He's like, oh, no, 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 no. And then the boat tips over, and then he just kind of stares at her when she's falling off.
Well, because to make it seem like he pushed her over, like at that point, you might as well just push her over. Like, actually be evil.
Maybe he could have
I don't know,
thrown
'cause-
like a pot at her just right in the face.
I,
Knock her
I, I
off.
thought that was very weird, like coming to like, you tried to kill me. Obviously, he didn't push you off the boat.
He just
Okay,
didn't
maybe-
save you. Hey, it's like what Batman did. Remember in Batman Begins? I'm not gonna kill you, but I'm not gonna save you either.
But it's not like he was watching her trying to step on her toes to make her fall. He fell over too,
Yeah.
and didn't immediately risk his life to save her. He kind of paused, was thinking about it, then she fell right in. So
Yeah.
not to be a pharmaceutical defender, but I don't really think that was the
Probably would have
occasion.
done that to any of the other characters. He's just worried about getting his money.
Yeah.
Well, that too, but what I'm saying is like, was he really that moment wasn't the most evil thing in the world? I feel like it was a more normal reaction. Like, oh, you fell. He sees her falling, just thinking about it. Like,
Well, the
he's
boat
not
was
acting immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The boat was also on its side, so it wasn't like she was dangling off and he was just standing there smoking a cigarette.
I still very weak justification. Like, I
Or
didn't just to hate him.
he
but-
walks over slowly. She's like, "Help me!" He sees the mosasaurus coming right at her, and he goes, "Farewell," and like steps on her. Like,
He has
He
a
lifts his hand up.
no. He has a dinner bell. Come get it, Mosasaurus! Ding 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 ding. ding. We forgot to mention too the little girl that was part of the family, and I guess maybe this is our fault. We haven't really mentioned the characters too much, but
Well, they're forgettable.
they're not only forgettable, but some of them are annoying, especially the son.
the boyfriend.
The boyfriend who's dating the people that get rescued. There's a father, two daughters, and the boyfriend of the older daughter, not the younger, the older daughter. And he's so annoying, and I was hoping that he would just get eaten right in front of them.
See, am I a monster because I was rooting for the boyfriend to die more than I already knew the executive was going to die? Old
Yes,
news.
yes.
Like,
Yeah,
the
everyone
moment I
knows
saw him,
that.
he's going to
Stevie
die.
Wonder could see
I'm
that.
not. I know it's going to happen. I wanted the boyfriend to die so badly because
He was so
such
annoying.
a loser. He's such a bum. The dad's like, "Could you take a shift driving the boat?" And he's like,
Nah,
"Nah."
bro, that's crazy.
He like Mr. Magoo's his way into success. It's so annoying.
See, I wish that the movie, because it's so predictable, you have to throw curveballs in there. And maybe you could shock the audience. Maybe the little kid gets eaten, or only the father is left alive.
No.
Or only the mother, or only the little daughter's left alive and everyone else is eaten. You gotta do stuff that will genuinely shock the audience, because other than that, it's just by the numbers. It's
Of course, the family
predictable.
survives.
Even though realistically they wouldn't. The father broke his leg, or he fractured something in his leg, and then he's all
Something
fine
with his
by the
knee.
end. His knee, yeah.
Which kind of flared up when it was inconvenient.
You
But
need
I know
it.
to your point too. Yeah, obviously you knew
Yeah.
the young daughter wasn't going to die. You knew the older daughter wasn't going to die.
The boyfriend
Dad-
was insufferable.
At that point, just kill him. You're making the audience hate him. Why are you trying to save him?
We have to give credit to Jurassic World because they took some random girl, some adult, who just gets brutally murdered by a bunch of flying birds, and then the Mosasaurus eats her. That was unexpected. It's hilarious. It's really funny because it's cruel. And I don't know why I can't pronounce that. And you need to do something like that in this movie. Just throw a curveball at the audience. Maybe, Scarlett Johansson, maybe she gets eaten. Let's do something, please.
And even then, they had another fake out where the
Duncan.
paleontologist guy.
Oh,
Yeah, him too, I guess. The paleontologist falls from a very
that
the
guy.
ruins.
Yes.
yeah, Loomis. He falls from and nothing happens to him. Not even a scratch. He falls through some trees, breaks his fall, lands in some very shallow water.
He
And I
would've
feel like I jump off the diving board and I fall like 10 feet into the water or 8 feet, and this guy falls 100 feet up in the air and he barely goes to the bottom of this shallow pond. Then we
Without
need another
breaking.
scene with the boyfriend doing something stupid, almost get eaten by velociraptors and
I
get
thought-
those get eaten by the flying velociraptor.
I thought maybe the dumbest scene was they send the older daughter to go across the water and get the raft. Why would the dad or not the boyfriend go?
Well, the dad's hurt.
And-
Because the folly of that scene, too, is that there's really no tension because you know they're all going to be fine. You know they are. So you're just like, there's this giant T-Rex that's sleeping. It wakes up. It's not going to... it's going to get them. Oh, no, it's not going to. It hits this giant rock thing. Oh, no.
What I didn't get about the girl is why on earth did she inflate it on the dock? From what I remember, the T-Rex was sleeping. If she just got into the water and floated it across the river, they could have gotten it, grabbed it, and just gone further up the river, gone further down the river, wherever they needed to go. They wouldn't have woken up the T-Rex. I think she panicked and opened it for some reason.
To be fair, Craig, I guess I would be pretty scared too if there's this giant prehistoric creature next to me.
No, Colin, because people are bored and tired of dinosaurs at this point. So no.
I would. I'm speaking for myself. I'd be pretty terrified of that thing.
You wouldn't be in a Jurassic World movie then.
I wouldn't put myself in that position, right? I guess I have better survival instincts than these people. Well, to be fair to the family, they didn't ask for this. Even though
Would
I guess
they-
they're all the way out there in the water. Sure, why not?
Would they have been warned or know that there's a potential mosasaurus in the waters that they're potentially sailing to beforehand?
He mentioned something like, "Oh, I've done this dozens of times, never got hit by a dinosaur or something."
don't
Some
know
big
why-
justification.
I don't know why. This is just like a small tangent. How the Coast Guard or any kind of government would have just not gunned that thing down. That thing is too dangerous to be kept alive.
Well, yeah, we've
Yeah.
Sounds
established
hard-
it's not difficult
yeah.
to kill
Well,
them. They
It
can
sounds
track
heartless,
it.
but
Yeah,
it's
but-
true. Yeah, they know where it is. They could easily find that thing and gun it
Yeah.
down if they're competent. They'll probably fly the helicopter right above the water, and the mosasaurus will eat it.
They're like a foot above the water.
No,
Like, I
no,
can't see
no,
it.
Colin, they'll do it at night in the middle of a storm, so
yeah.
they can't even see them.
Yeah, that's true. You see anything? No, not yet. No, not yet.
Alan.
Oh, Alan.
Alan.
Well, at least they didn't drag back any of the legacy characters into this.
To be honest, I was kind of expecting a cameo from someone.
They've only mentioned Dr. Grant, that the Loomis fellow studied under Grant. I'm surprised they didn't mention somebody else knew John Hammond.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was best friends with John Hammond, even though I was born like after he died.
The pharmaceutical guy had been like, yeah, I've known John Hammond for a long time.
He was like a grandfather to
Oh, wow.
me.
Yeah.
Although it would be funny if they randomly brought back Jeff Goldblum. They run into him on the island. He just looks like a caveman, has a beard.
No, it'd be funny. He's just tanning on the beachfront.
Hey.
Hey.
Well, we made fun of the family for being a bunch of useless bags of weights, but the rest of our main characters were not much better.
Well, yeah, especially because they're quote unquote equipped for this mission, even though they weren't.
The crew was pretty bad. You knew that one guy was gonna die. The guy from Zack Snyder's masterpiece, Rebel Moon.
Which guy is that?
And Deadpool. He was the...
Oh, he dies
yes,
immediately.
Yeah.
Yes. He gets eaten by Ed Skrein. I'm probably terribly mispronouncing his name. Yeah, Skrein. Yeah, he gets eaten immediately.
Well, it's funny. They establish him as a bad guy because he goes, "Well, if the dinosaurs are a problem, I'll just shoot them." Which I feel
Good.
any reasonable person will come to that same conclusion. If I'm picking between my life and the genetically engineered monster's life, I'm going to pick my
Well,
life.
not only just shoot them, but shoot them with a paralyzing agent, Craig. So you really know he's evil.
But isn't that more humane? You just paralyze them, you don't kill them?
Especially when you have the Spinosauruses working with the Mosasaurus to herd you. That's even more terrifying. More reason to load up.
So what
I
was
don't
their
know.
plan with the boat? Where are they going to dock that thing before they destroy it?
I don't think they had much of a plan.
Oh, because in the
Well-
movie, the Mosasaurus and the Spinosauruses are kind of calling
I
the
also-
boat because they wanted to get away from the Mosasaurus. They figured, let's go to shallow water. But then that's a horrible idea because then you pin the boat and then you destroy the boat. So I don't know what their plan was
Well,
if that never happened. Where would they dock?
Do you wish, not saying that it was a good thing, do you wish they had introduced that monstrosity Rex
No.
earlier or more throughout the movie?
Well, I wouldn't have it in the movie at all because these aren't dinosaurs.
Oh,
These
true.
these are monsters at this point. But I would definitely have it appear halfway through the movie maybe and harass the group, and maybe you have this thing kill people. Maybe kill Duncan, maybe kill the dad, the boyfriend, one of the daughters. Make it do something where it is an actual threat. This thing in this movie at the very end, it shows up. It is so slow moving, yet it catches a helicopter and blows it up. The movie doesn't know what it wants to do with this thing that they set up in the beginning.
I also just think it was kind of disappointing. I know they were trying to hide it in the trailers, but like looking at the thing, it's like, oh, you're some xenomorph.
It is
T-Rex
horribly
hybrid.
unimaginative.
I sent a meme to you guys how apparently a lot of Western monsters have that exact same look. Colin probably post the meme for the video.
Did you just send it?
Yeah, sent it in our group chat.
Oh,
How a lot of Western kaiju have basically the exact same
look at that.
design.
The Cloverfield, the Muto. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I saw this meme floating around. I'm like, huh, that's pretty accurate.
Maybe they should hire a Japanese guy to do the monster designs. But
Even
are you
oh,
even
wait,
going to call it Jurassic World, the next one? What are you going to call it? It's not dinosaurs again.
Jurassic Kaiju.
I mean, kind of, I guess. That's a more fitting description. At least the
Well-
other ones look alike. They look identical. The
Well, the meme I
Muto,
sent
Cloverfield.
too, like Colin will show the video. It's not just the stance, like the really
Yeah.
long,
It's the skinny arms.
Yeah.
multiple arms. They have like this exact same look. I don't know. I've seen enough times where
It's
I kind of agree.
Genuinely the same color, too. It's like this
Yeah.
brown gray.
I feel like if you're gonna be making all these hybrid monsters, why not go crazy? Maybe not have crazy where you make a flying velociraptor, but crazy enough where it actually makes me like, it's like, wow, I never would have imagined something like that existing. Well,
But
let's
then
go
you,
crazy. Make a
but then
xenomorph.
you're straying away from what Jurassic World and Park is with the dinosaurs. You're just making, I don't know.
I
I
mean,
mean, they
it's what they're
lost the
doing
plot.
now.
Yeah, they lost the plot a long time ago.
Here, why not go nuts?
Well, they did that, Craig, and we got Jurassic World 2 and 3.
Well, when I say go nuts, I mean with the designs, not go nuts as in let's just keep rehashing the original trilogy and
Yeah,
making
that's
it
true.
worse and dumber.
That's true. That's true.
The main cast is pretty bad. I think people like the Doctor. I did not like him at all whatsoever. I thought
Thought
he
he's too
was
whiny.
very whiny and he has that righteous attitude of like, oh, you can't hurt them, they're animals.
It's that condescending nobility.
Yeah. Like, well, this animal's gonna kill me and I'm not gonna let it I'm not gonna let it kill me. I'm gonna try to fight. And this make me a bad guy for trying to defend myself.
He is a worse version of all of the Doctors in through Jurassic Parks 1 and 3, where they just repeat the same thing. Oh, it's not our world. It's tiresome at this point. It is so tiresome. And I think that's why we definitely don't care about it, because seeing dinosaurs run around and eat people is just not interesting, at least not to me. It's the commentary. That's what makes the first one. And also, the first one at the time had groundbreaking special effects. It was well done. You cared about the characters. You cared about the commentary. It made sense. When you're on the seventh film, you wear everything out. This has belonged in the Sci-Fi Channel since Jurassic World.
Didn't they make a movie called like Triassic Park or something?
Yeah, like Triassic Attack or something, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was like dinosaur bones attacking people,
Well,
coming
yeah,
to life.
they don't care on the Sci-Fi Channel. They don't care. But this
Yeah,
one
well,
is just so bare bones. It's just uninspired, unimaginative,
I know we've been trashing it,
safe.
but even with all of that, I still think it's better than the World trilogy because that
Oh, it
was
is. It
everything
is.
this has, but like a million times worse.
Yeah.
It's so much dumber. It's so much more nostalgia baiting. I can't stand it. I remember when it came out, I was like so disgusted by Jurassic World. They just kept getting worse and worse and
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah, even though we've gone through 40, whatever, 30 something minutes of just talking about trashing this movie, it is still, it's not horrible. It's just, at this point, it's just pent up frustration. Because it does represent everything that is wrong with modern movies in big franchises, or it's just rehash, terrible, uninspired. And I don't like it. At least, yeah, it is better than Jurassic World and that whole series. But I would rank the movies 1, 2, 3, Rebirth, World, Fallen Kingdom, and Dominion. So kind of in the order they came out. They each get worse.
Yeah, I kind of agree, but after the
I think
first
I think you
three,
could
I don't even
argue
care.
2 and 3 you can swap sometimes, because 2 is kind of a mess. The Lost World is a mess.
Yeah, but at least that's more original.
It is.
And
But
it's
it
got
is a
some
mess.
good scenes, at least in it too, like the T-Rex knocking over the camper.
Oh yeah, that was a good scene. That poor guy Eddie who gets just gored by those
I
2
know.
Rexes. That was so terrible. Poor guy didn't deserve that. He was helping everybody.
But that's the thing.
Yeah,
He
anyone
was doing
can
the right
die.
thing.
Yeah, anyone
Yeah.
can die.
Or at the very least, not everyone is entirely safe. And he died, he's going out a hero. Not these
Yeah.
guys are bumbling their way around like Mr. Magoo. Like they basically are inside the T-Rex's mouth and magically get pulled out by something.
Well, that did happen in the book. See, in the book, real quick, and we'll wrap it up. Gennaro and Muldoon, they go after Rexy because she broke containment. This is when they lost power, and they trank her, and Muldoon thinks he missed. So then they're like, we'll go back to the visitor center and regroup. And then Rexy is harassing Lex and Tim while they're outside by a waterfall maintenance center, and Grant's inside. So they're kind of stuck in a crevice, and Rexy puts her tongue around Tim and is beginning to bring him in, but then she finally passes out from the trank dart. And then they're like, oh, aren't you worried that she'll drown? And they're like, oh, we don't care. Because the island, I didn't mention this in the book, the island gets napalmed at the end. They blow up the island when
I
everyone
remember you
escapes.
mentioned that in an earlier reviews.
They blow up the island, and there's a subplot too, with dinos getting off the island. So Grant, before they leave, he wants to, because he knows the island's going to get blown up, he wants to lure all the raptors, gas them out to bring them out of their nests so they can get hit when they get bombed.
Yeah, so much for that. Oh, respect the animals, man. The OG was like, yeah, kill them all. I want them all
Yeah,
dead.
at that point, what he's witnessed and what he's gone through, he wanted to kill them all.
Like,
he knew they were too dangerous, because also in that book, real quick too, the dinosaurs, a fail-safe was that they would not allow the dinosaurs to have this thing called lysine. They couldn't get it by themselves. They'd have to be fed that. So if they ever broke containment, they would die in 12 hours from that lack of lysine, because they could only get it from the park. Well, at the end, when Grant is getting questioned by the government, they say to him, these dinosaurs that have gone to the mainland somehow, they've been hopping on a boat. But at the end, when they're telling him they've been eating crops rich with lysine, and Grant's like, like, oh my god, they're gonna reproduce. They're out now. And then they tell him, like, the government says, yeah, Grant, you're not going anywhere for a while. You're stuck here. That's how the first book ends. It's so different. That's why we need to have an adaptation that's close to the book.
Well, don't worry. When we're like in our 80s, when it finally gets in the public domain, we'll finally be able to watch an accurate one.
That's sad but true.
Well, because now we're getting right Winnie the Pooh's in public domain,
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse, or not Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie. Only gonna
So-
take us like 100 years. Well, maybe we'll finally see.
95 years. King Kong is coming up on public domain.
Yeah, thanks Disney for that.
Well, Disney actually extended public domain. It used to be 70.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Thank you for extending it, so people will have to live under their franchises forever and ever and ever. But we're not going to talk about the public copyright laws.
Any final thoughts for this movie, Jurassic World Rebirth?
Basically, what we said before, it's mid. I think it's watchable enough. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's just it's such a retread. It's like, why bother making it? It's too
Yeah.
similar to the third one. It doesn't really bring in anything new. Oh, there's hybrids. Yeah, well, they're already hybrids, and you didn't really take advantage of that idea. So who cares?
Yeah, I agree. Daniel?
Just pointless.
Yeah. It may seem like we were harsh again on the movie, but again, it's just, there's nothing new to this, and it's the same thing, and they don't fully take advantage of the ideas they're trying to have. It's not terrible, it's not good, it's in the middle. Still better than the world movies. But next week, we're going to be talking about Superman, because as of today, the reviews came out, and the reviews look great, so I'm excited to see that. Finally, a good movie we can talk about that's new.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, but it looks good. Everything looks good right now. So with all that being said, this has been the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I'm Colin.
I'm the C-Rex.
Oh, I see what you did there. Loser.
And I'm the Dan Rex.
And we will see you next week for Superman.